This is such a simple yet clever solution for anybody looking to mount a Garmin Zumo XT or XT2 to their bike. I came across the MotoPumps GPS mount whilst trying to find a solution to fit my Garmin Zumo XT2 to the Africa Twin. Previously, I'd bought and fitted a Touratech locking mount, and to be honest, it's a bit over-engineered, but I mounted it on the bars and I could live with it. However, I really wanted to mount the Garmin above the dash because with it mounted on the bars, I discovered that I couldn't fit any of my SW Motec tank bags. Added to that, the Touratech mount at almost half a kilo in weight is just too much weight to add onto a mounting bracket, and it would probably make the GPS vibrate more than an Ann Summers stockroom. After searching online for a solution, I came across the MotoPumps product. It was small, lightweight, and offered pretty much the same locking solution as the other mount. The only problem was that MotoPumps are based in the US and they don't have a UK distributor. But I did find a solution for that, and I'll talk about that a bit later on in the video. So how does the MotoPumps locking mount work, and what do you get in the package? It is essentially a very nicely machined AMPS mount that comes with a choice of clamps depending on the diameter of the bar you're fitting it to. Now, I needed a 12mm bracket, but that tends to be the standard for crossbar type mounts. But they do also offer the clamps in fitting diameters of 14, 16, 22, 25 and 28mm. The clever bit comes in how the lock works. Nothing overcomplicated. There's a simple locking pin that slides in from the side and is screwed into place using a dedicated tool. This bar prevents the release button of the Garmin mount from being activated. Simple yet clever. To install it, it's simply a case of bolting the Garmin base onto the MotoPumps mount, which you can do with or without the ignition switch power supply. Then bolt the clamp onto your chosen bar. There are a couple of mounting positions allowing you to move the device into an ideal position. Screw in the locking pin and boom, that's it, you're done. Now obviously from a security point of view, this is designed to stop the opportunist thief. A dedicated scumbag will always find a way to get it off. However, this device does mean that you can leave your Garmin safely locked to your bike when you're refueling, having a wee break, having lunch, or just visiting a location. It's there to stop those people that know that you can just press the top lever and take the whole thing away. Now, I don't know if this is something that happens. It's always been a fear of mine that you go in to fill up with your fuel, you're paying, and somebody that knows how these things work can just run along, go clip, dom, in a car and gone. It's never happened to me. I don't know of anybody that it's happened to, but this takes that worry away. I used it on a recent trip to Europe, and the only time I removed the GPS was when I had to park the bike outside overnight. For me, particularly now I've got the GPS mounted above the dash, this is a much better solution than something big and heavy like the Touratech mount. It's smaller and lighter, and it does pretty much the same job. I'm also happy to report that now I've used it for around about 1,500 miles in this position. It is absolutely rock solid. I did fit it to a Jivy mount, which I thought initially when it arrived was a little bit flimsy, but it actually worked quite well. And I think because you haven't got the weight of something like the Touratech mount, which has caused problems for other people, I've had no issues with it whatsoever. At $109, it's also cheaper too. However, having already spent £128 on one of these, it was a little bit of an expensive experiment and lesson for me. But that $109 price does include free shipping to anywhere in the US. To take advantage of this, I set up an account with Stackry. This is a service that effectively gives you your own US postal address. So MotoPumps shipped this to that address for free, and when it arrived at that address, Stackry sent me an email to say that they had received it, and then I had several options of how I wanted that posted onto me. They give you the option to hold that, so if you're shopping and buying several bits, they can hold those items for you and consolidate them into a smaller package, which will make it easier and cheaper to ship. And then you can choose which shipping service you use. So I used one of the cheap FedEx services. It cost me in the end, I think, around £12 in total for that shipping, and it arrived in about 9 days, which, considering there was a bank holiday in between that as well, I think that was pretty good and it worked for me. Obviously, if you want express shipping, you can do that and you can pay more for it. Now, I just want to make clear that I don't have any affiliation with MotoPumps at all. I just came across this device, I thought it was a neat idea and I wanted to show it to you. Now, I realise that this video has got quite a narrow audience, but part of the reason I set up this channel was to be able to share interesting and useful products and hacks and bits and pieces that I come across, and this was just one of those that I thought I'd show you. I'd bought the Touratech thing, which is very high quality. It is expensive, but there's a lot to it, but it just didn't work for the purpose that I wanted. And I couldn't find another solution to be able to lock the GPS device other than this. Now, obviously, you can just unclip it, shove it in your pocket, but sometimes you don't always want to do that. So, yeah, the ability to get off your bike and leave it locked there and know that it's unlikely that anybody is going to mess around with it, I think it's definitely worth looking at. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments section down below and I'll come back to you with a response as soon as I can. And all that leaves me to say is, until next time, thanks for watching, take care, ride safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.